Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be using the Quest 3 that I recently just got, and we're going to be trying sculpting in it. This application is called Gravity Sketch, and I think it will be pretty good. Originally, I was going to try and get Blender working in the Quest 3, though this didn't really work as the Windows PC I had is really old, and it turns out you have to have a $70 AirLink cable, which I do not have. Also, Mac did not work at all, so yeah, we're trying out this free app called Gravity Sketch. So without any further ado, let's actually get into the application in the headset. So here we are in Gravity Sketch. Originally, I was going to record my first ever sculpt inside of it. Unfortunately, I only recorded this first little tidbit of me in Gravity Sketch where I was exploring the basic properties. And then I ended up managing to somehow stop the recording. So jump ahead, and I had my first ever sculpts. And really, what was really nice about this is all you had to do was drag the trigger, hold the trigger, and it would create these lines. And then you would move around to create it in the 3D space. By doing this, I could move in X, Y, and Z, and then rotate, scale, and do all that sort of stuff by just using the joysticks in a very intuitive way. And it didn't really take me very long. Granted, the things I ended up creating are very basic, as I was just wanting to see how well it worked. In fact, the lizard that I was trying to create was actually based on my second grade drawings, and it didn't look too far from it. That also had a bee that it was trying to catch. I just thought it would be kind of fun to go back in there and see if I could do it in 3D. And what's kind of funny about this is that creating this sort of thing inside a Blender would actually be pretty difficult if you are using all the lines. If you weren't using the lines, you could just use the meshes, and that would actually be pretty easy, and I think it would be better to do in Blender. But is it more fun? No, not necessarily. If you have a Quest 3 and you have this for a proof of concept, I think this is where Gravity Sketch really shines, and I would use it instead, as you could create ideas way faster than you could in other software. And if you just have a Quest 3 and you want to try sculpting in VR or being artistic in it, then this is also perfect for that situation, as it's kind of fun to just hold the trigger. It even has a nice haptic feedback, so it's like zzz every time you're moving, which actually makes it very satisfying. In fact, I ended up spending an entire hour and a half inside of the application, and in that time, the sun went all the way down, as you can see in this time-lapse version. Gravity Sketch isn't just limited to these primitive lines, as I found out later on that you could actually create meshes, as by that I mean you could just create like cubes, circles, spheres, and that sort of thing, and add them into the world. So if you wanted to create like a bloxy snowman, or just a snowman in general, then you could do it with these sort of things. It would be a little bit more difficult, as unlike Blender, the tools aren't necessarily made for combining pieces, but you could still try, and you could probably get something that still looks pretty good if you really want to do it. And also there's surfaces. These surfaces you can kind of draw to fill up gaps, and if you could make a smoother looking design. If you really spent a lot of time, you could probably end up creating some nice looking cars or shoes or really whatever you wanted in it. And I also found there was this really cool tool that was kind of like it was part of the surface one, but you can use it to like create a design like a vase, and this vase was created way quicker than I could have done in Blender, and it actually didn't look that bad. Granted, I would want to polish it up in another software, but for creating it in like 5 seconds, really a nice way of doing it. Conveniently, you could also export these as OBJs or other file types so that you could actually put it in Blender and other 3D software, and it really works as a perfect situation for like concept design so that you can have it as a reference if you want. Overall, it's a very fun little program that is free, which is actually kind of surprising. I'm not sure if they have like a paid subscription later on, or if there's some limited features in the app that you could get with the paid version, but overall I could definitely recommend it for those that just want to try it out, or those who have a concept and they just want to see it in 3D really quickly without having to actually model it in something like Blender. So with that, thanks for watching this quick little video about Gravity Sketch. Honestly, a fun little program, and I hope you enjoyed it. With that, I'll see you in the next video, and bye! By the way, for those curious where I was, here's what it looks like around here. The sun is going down, so I'm gonna go get my run. I'm gonna run around here, and then we'll call it. Though, before we do that, I have something I really want to do, and that involves going down a hill over here and going on some ice. Yeah! Would you look at this?